Hey guys, what's up, what's going on, and welcome back to the channel. It has been just a little bit, but I finally have the results to the Schaeffers anti-gel versus the Hot Shot Secrets anti-gel, and I just wanted to share those with you tonight. Somebody had brought a video to my attention, and Project Farm, he did a in-depth test on a bunch of different anti-gels. But I don't remember seeing him doing the Schaeffers. I don't think he had that in there. So what I'm going to do is I actually do have some diesel fuel that's been marinating in the freezer, and I wanted to see what the difference was. So we're going to go back down and we're going to go down and grab that and bring it up. I do have a thermometer in there, and right now it's set at right about -10 degrees. So like I said, it's been a while, but I do have the results. Hot Shots did. I really can't even say they edged out Schaeffers. As far as cost to buy the bottle, Schaeffers is actually cheaper right now. It's 12 bucks a bottle versus 16 bucks a bottle. 16 ounce containers. So if you remember right, this is the Schaeffers. It's a 4 ounce treatment. And Hot Shots is a 4 ounce treatment. You have 16 ounces, you have 16 ounces. As far as the two chemicals, or the two additives, neck and neck, we were 0.9 as far as mileage. We had 14.6 miles to the gallon. The Hot Shots had 15.5. So, like I said, I'm sorry, it's a little over a mile to the gallon. But with that being said, we had some temperatures that was in the single digits for about 4 or 5 days while I had this in the tank. So in the mornings, I started my truck and left it run for probably 20 minutes. And then in the afternoon, when I was going home from work, I started my truck again and left it warm up and run for probably 15-20 minutes. So I guess if I had some temperatures where I didn't have to warm my truck up like I did with the Hot Shots, when I was running the Hot Shots, I did not have to warm my truck up at all. It was at least 40 degrees in the morning. Sometimes it was 32-ish, so I didn't worry about warming it up too much. I just got in it and went after just a couple of minutes. But with the Schaeffers in the tank, there was a couple of mornings, like I said, that I did have to let the truck warm up for a little while. So I'm gonna take that 1.10 mile to the gallon difference and contribute that to that. So I'm going to say that as far as miles to the gallon, they are going to be very, very close. I did 33 miles, about 33 1/3 miles, or 33 1/3 gallons there at 481, and I had, there it is, 31 3/4 gallons on that one and 493 miles. So it's really, really close. Like I said, I think the mileage would be the same, but with me warming the truck up in the morning, that's where I got the change and I got the difference. So I'm just gonna say miles to gallon is the same. Treatment, we have 4 ounces and 4 ounces. Cost, Schaeffers is cheaper. Treatment wise, as far as winter weather, if you remember right, the Schaeffers said 15 to 25 degrees below filter plugging point. Well, if you Google when does diesel fuel freeze, it says at 32 degrees it starts to get cloudy. At 10 to 15 degrees is when it actually starts to gel and you start having some issues in your tank. So as far as the Schaeffers, it's gonna go, if it's 15 to 25, that would put it at a -5 to a -10 degrees is all the Schaeffers is gonna take it down to. Now with the Hot Shots, it is, if I remember right, 65, it's 10 to 40 degrees below zero. And then it prevents to let's see, the pour point to -65. Fuel line freeze up was the 10 to 40 degrees below, and the pour point was at -65. So That's the only column that Hot Shots actually beat out to Schaeffers. So right now let's run downstairs in the basement, grab that, and I'll show you the thermometer and show you the diesel fuel that's in there. We'll bring it back up and we'll take a look at it and kind of go from there. All right, here's my freezer. It's just a small little freezer down the basement, nothing real big. You can see there that we are at about almost -10 degrees. It has came up just a little bit. Right now we're about -6. Earlier when I checked it was at -10. I just went ahead and turned it up to max power. Just so if you live in Antarctica, this is what you have. Here's the diesel fuel here. We're gonna take it up there. You can see this is the Schaeffers on this side, and this is the Hot Shots. You can see the wax in there. So let's take this up to the garage, get it out of the bag, and take a look at it. All right, before I show you these fuel samples here, this next clip I'm gonna show you is me actually putting the additives in there. I used a teaspoon per this little pint. There is not much fuel in there at all, so a teaspoon is actually over-treated, both of them. This next clip is gonna be me putting those in there. All right, as you can see, I put just a teaspoon of additive in each one of these jars of the corresponding additive. And you can see here is the Schaeffers. That's what's froze, that's how much wax is in there, how much gelling is in there. It's actually the paraffin wax is what clogs up your filters. And then there's the Hot Shots. Just a little bit down there at the bottom. Now that it's starting to get shooken up a little bit, you can see that wax dispersion without the fuel. So as far as the freeze test, and I did this, and these are going to be like the most extreme conditions that you can think of. Those two fuel samples has actually been in my freezer at max temperature for probably about a week to 10 days. And that is the only, I mean, that's pretty minimal. You think in that pint versus what's in, you know, the 35 gallons of fuel that's in my truck. Both of those did, I say, you know, fairly well. I mean, the Hot Shots, it did edge out the Schaeffers quite a bit, probably by half. But all in all, both of them, I'm pretty happy with both of them. I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to run either one. Seeing the fuel samples at a -10 degrees, I probably will stick with the Hot Shots. But if you're going for a cost effectiveness, the Schaeffers is a lot better. And if you don't have stupid cold temperatures like what we do here, last year we had probably 2 weeks straight where we had sub-zero temperatures. So it simulated this test. We had some actual temperature readings with actual temperature readings was like -24 degrees. With the wind chill, it bumped it down to even -50 and -60 degrees. There was about 4 or 5 days in here last winter in January, right around mid-January, we had some stupid cold temperatures. So you look at that fuel sample, as long as you keep your filters good and clean, you should not have, with the Hot Shots, you should not have any issues with some waxy buildup. So I'm pretty happy with that on both of them actually. They're frosting up now. That's the Schaeffers again. Minimal wax in each one of them. And there's the Hot Shots. You can see just a little bit down the bottom of the Hot Shots. So all in all, that's probably the closest comparison that I've ever done as far as a fuel treatment. This is the first time I've ever done an anti-gel test like that. And like I said, I'm probably going to stick with the Hot Shots just because of the freeze test right there, what I've done. I do want to do another test with the summer blend of the Schaeffers. They have some that they claim that you will pick up 3% of your fuel mileage. Your fuel mileage will gain 3%. Now they leave it vague, just like they leave it vague on the freeze point. So you have to know, I guess, what the freeze point is of the diesel fuel and then subtract it yourself versus the Hot Shots putting it right on the bottle. So they have one that they claim that you'll get a 3% increase in your fuel mileage by running their Schaeffers product. Now, is that on a stock truck? Is that treated versus untreated? I don't know. They're leaving it, you know, that's a huge gray area, or huge, it's leaving it very vague on that aspect too. Craig and I was talking that this summer that we would actually like to try that and actually see if you do get a 3% increase versus, we'll probably do it untreated and treated, but both my trucks are modified as far as engine, so we're just gonna have to see what happens there. So anyway guys, I wanted to share the results of the Schaeffers versus Hot Shots with you. I think, like I said, I wouldn't be afraid to use either one of them. I think they're both pretty good products. I've never used any of the Schaeffers oil, but as far as the products, pretty impressed with each of them really. I do have this in the tank now. I have 2 more treatments left of this. I think 2 more. So we're probably going to try this before it just gets stupid cold and see if we can get an increase. We're going to run this some of this in a dually in the common rail and see what the difference is there. So right now with that, I have a 160 horse tune in that with timing added. I've been playing around with the tuner on that and trying to learn a little bit more. I'll have some videos coming up with that Smarty tuner. So, and I actually went and picked up another part for the dually tonight too. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Anyway guys, if you don't mind, I think that's gonna do it for tonight. Tomorrow night is Tuesday? No, I was trying to put it all together. Tomorrow night is tool night. It is Tuesday, so make sure and come back for that. I do have 2 different tools I want to do reviews on. I'm just trying to decide which one I want to do this week and which one I want to do next week. So until then guys, if you don't mind, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already done so, and we'll talk to you guys later on. Bye-bye.